you can let me know, please. I'm watching the chat on my computer, and I'm looking at the phone, so you're going to see me going like this. If you see me at all. Let me get this thing muted here. It's probably going to look a little blocky because I'm back in my office, but we tried this out on Patreon earlier this week, and it worked out okay. After the live stream, it goes back through and it makes it 1080p. So for the people catching it after the fact, am I 5x5, y'all? Or am I talking to myself? I've been known to do it. Honey Badger, Greg, Jennifer Cruz, Al Bundy's in the house. Nana P, thank you for being here. Jason in Virginia, what's up, brother? Melissa Dove, I haven't seen you here in a while. Hopefully you're doing good. I know you're having some health issues, but hopefully those are getting better, ma'am. Loretta's in the house. Tennessee Tactical. We're just going to take a couple of minutes here and talk back and forth in case somebody else happens to see the stream, and then we'll get on with it. Bo Harris, I'm not shocked. And unfortunately, this is something I can't help. Some people seem to get the notification, some don't. The only thing I can do is ask you to hit the bell icon. Once you've done that, that's all I can do on my end. Google, be shady, son. Carolina Family Preppers, also hello from North Carolina. Alaska Prepper. Oh, man. Let me shake the crumbs off my shirt, Rudy. How you doing, brother? Liz is in the house. Okay, so quickly, I just want to say, because I'm streaming from the cell phone, I will have to wait and do the giveaway tomorrow morning. So first thing, tomorrow morning premiere, we're going to be giving away an awesome knife. Okay, folks? K-Bar trench knife. Be sure you're subscribed. Otherwise, you won't get the notification, and sometimes you don't get it anyway, right? And also to explain the picture that I used tonight, I'm going to go back in and change it after the fact. But that's Main Street here where I live in Mount Airy, Mayberry, from the Andy Griffith Show. And I'm sitting at one of the 3 ice cream places on Main Street. Black cherry and vanilla, that's my jam, son. What kind of ice cream do y'all like? I'm surprised anybody's in here. To be honest, I know Trump is kicking off his revenge tour tonight, right? In Ohio. You folks see that? I'm not ignoring you, I promise. Again, I'm looking down here at the chat. It's running. As a matter of fact, oh, I'm checking the chat as I live stream here. Sup, Core Tiger? Michigan Outpost, how you doing? Mames is in the house. Y'all better watch it. She's like Sam Elliott on Roadhouse, son. Yeah, I saw the Trump rally, Greg. Yeah, he had made the statement, or Trump's, I guess his spokesperson, his spokeswoman, officially, that he is going to aggressively campaign against all rhinos in the future. So they just figured, hey, you know, we will, I can't really say it here on Google, we will manipulate the levers until Trump is a non-factor and he'll just go away somewhere. But it looks like he's going to be stumping against all the rhinos, which he should. I'm so sick of the rhinos on both sides of the aisle. Homestead Homeboy, thank you for that very much. Hello from Elkin. You're not too far away from me. I know where Elkin's at. That's awesome, man. You watched a good bit of it. They were... Tony, I noticed they were trying to suppress it over on Twitter. I kept trying to click the live feed of it, and it was buried. Like Twitter was burying the live feed of it. 300, I love that name. Yeah, we're going to get into that tonight, Talon. So I wanted to start off with something a little funny and a little ridiculous. Did you guys know that the Pearl Milling Company pancakes are here officially? You know, they were rebranding the Aunt Jemima pancakes. You folks see that, right? Does he, Nana? I did not know that. I'm going to have to go subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, they switched the Aunt Jemima over to the Pearl Milling Company pancakes. Doesn't that just roll off the tongue? You know? Can't you just imagine your 8-year-old kids getting up in the morning and saying, Dad, will you make me some Pearl Milling Company pancakes, please? The wokeness is out of control in this country. You know, I always say, you know, don't do anything out of hatred or malice. Don't do anything just to upset people, right? Be a good person. But wokeness just takes it far left over into the gutter, man. It's just, I've said this before, but it's hard to go back and watch Seinfeld now because things were funny back then. Can you imagine Seinfeld being filmed right now? What those jokes would look like? It would be insane. They're woke, son. I know they're woke. I know it, Tennessee. I know it. So Kamala finally visited the border down in, was it Texas or New Mexico? I think it was Texas. She was there for like 20 minutes. You know, it takes me longer to pump gas, son, than Kamala was down south. What about Archie Bunker? Archie Bunker, man. I like Archie Bunker. But we're going to be talking about this, Rudy, on the backup channel Tuesday. And I'm going to be talking about the TV purge of 1971 when they ghosted all of the good TV shows. Most of them, anyway. All my Westerns got taken away at that point, and it sucks. It really does. So Kamala was down there, and the timing is weird. Somebody brought this up on Patreon. Trump had announced he was going to the border. And now all of a sudden Kamala Harris visits the border. El Paso, thank you for that, Talon. And she was saying, you know, the border should not be political. We need to get away from politics down here. These people are hurting. After she ran for months and campaigned, and that was her main talking point against President Trump. She said he's detaining too many people down here. And the detainees since 2020 have actually doubled. They've doubled in 1 year under Potato Joe. Red Fox, Al Bundy, I love Red Fox. Sanford and Son is probably in my top 10 shows of all time. And it's really sad for those that don't know. Red Fox, I guess that's the Red Fox y'all talking about, son. I don't know, maybe you've seen Red Fox out in the yard. But Red Fox actually had a heart attack in real life. And he was up on stage, they were filming something, and people thought he was joking. And they didn't get to him in time because of that. So I think that's crazy. But it is what it is. Hey, Big Red, I see you. So somebody was asking over on Patreon earlier, the Russian fleet, is it still there with Hawaii and all that? Are they still off the coast of Hawaii? I think, from what I was able to pull up information-wise, they're gone. They're not off of the coast of Hawaii anymore. They've passed on through. But Cyber Polygon is July the 9th. And for those that don't know, Cyber Polygon is when it's kind of like a test run of the grid crashing for numerous companies, large companies, and it is being run by a Russian company, a tech firm in Russia, which makes all kinds of sense. You know, nothing bad ever coming from Russia in terms of digital technology. Here, let's place the future of our country and potentially mankind into the hands of a Russian company. Robert, good evening. Rodney Dangerfield. Okay, Sanford and Son, thank y'all. I was hoping y'all were talking about Sanford and Son, that Red Fox. Thumbs down guy working the Trump rally tonight. Red Tyrant Hunter. Let me tell you, Red Tyrant, I can always tell in the premiere when we start to go a little 1776, we get on that subject. Red Tyrant Hunter is the one person you don't want to mess with in a 1776. I've picked that up. Nick, how you doing, brother? Odin's Wolf, I hope that there's not a Trojan horse coming soon. But be prepared just in case there is. You know? I don't know, sometimes I get this feeling where it's kind of calm. It's almost too calm, you know? I think we're starting to see red flags here and there. And it's almost like a build up towards something. And I don't want to like come on here and guarantee that in 2 days the world's going to end or anything like that. I just sometimes I get that feeling. And so be prepping, folks. Be prepping. And also, if you haven't subscribed to Rudy Alaska Prepper, the man is awesome. I'm sure one of the mods have kicked his link out by now, but everybody knows Rudy. You know, I can go in my local grocery store, Rudy, and they probably know who you are. They're like, the guy that stacks silver. That man. Thank you, Nana. False sense of security. I agree. I got a message earlier this evening right before I went live, and he was wanting me to remind you folks that if something ever goes down here, boots on the ground, whether it be our own country facing off against one another or, you know, the blue helmets, etc., that's not going to be a matter of red states versus blue states. That we're not going to be able to look at all 50 states on the map and just partition them off. He was saying that it's urban versus rural, and I think that's a really good point. It's hard to war game the possibility of something happening because many of our larger cities are extreme liberal. There are a few smaller cities, believe it or not, that are still conservative, but for the most part, it's going to be urban and rural. Suburbs are ready for violence. Greg, I think some of them are. I think just in my neighborhood, let me tell you this, in my neighborhood, I noticed one of my neighbors, we've never actually talked about prepping, but he strikes me as the non-prepper. He has the stuff like the big swimming pool, etc., that just non-preppers wouldn't have. And I've noticed this week he's putting the big solar panels up out back, and he has a brand new shed with all kinds of locks on it. So I'm like, maybe some people are waking up. But, and it's never too late to start prepping, but you're way behind the 8 ball if you're starting right now. Unless you know, if you're super rich, you can prep in a month. But most people can't prep in a month. They don't have that kind of disposable income. Sassy, one eye on Prepper Nation, one on the president. Hope I don't get flagged here on Google for calling him the president, but I still think, you know, some shady stuff went down. Storm Shadow, the OG Tifa. Yeah, but Storm Shadow's a made-up character. And Tifa is a made-up movement. You know what I mean? It's a communist movement. Takes 2 years to prep. Sandy, that's if you're hitting it really hard, I would say straight through, because I don't think you're ever done prepping. You know, I think you get to the point where, yeah, it's an idea, Jennifer, thank you. I think you get to the point where you store as much as your house can possibly hold, and then you make that turn toward homesteading. But man, there's always something to learn. You can be learning for the rest of your life on especially the homesteading stuff. Wow, there's a lot to learn. Baseline, yeah, absolutely. 1 to 2 years baseline, and that's if you're doing it pretty much full time. And it's hard right now because we'll get into the shortages in a bit, but they're all over the place. You know, it's hard to prep a lot of this stuff right now. Speaking of, somebody asked this week, how do we prepare? I wrote it down. How do we prepare for a major equipment and tech disadvantage? So we were talking about, you know, just a total Mad Max this week in this country. And I think we got to talking about it because of Biden and his F-15 fetish. And of course, if something went red hot, patriots in this country, we have a huge disadvantage when it comes to equipment and technology. We talked about the technology this morning. How do you folks think we combat that? I'm curious. Because I don't see a way around cell phones in, 21. I think you can live without a cell phone, but I don't think most people are prepared to do it. I don't think they're willing to do it. I think it's an arrangement between the average American and these huge tech companies, where the average American knows their info is being abused and stolen and harvested and sold, and they just don't care. I think to the average American, the convenience is more important. Trump's not the answer. We are broken. I really do like Trump. Don't get me wrong, but I do agree with that statement because he didn't do enough about big tech when he was in office. He didn't do enough about the censorship and the data harvesting and things like that. He should have done a lot more. Now, he faced resistance the entire time he was there. So it's not all on Trump, but he was the last great hope for us to actually break up, I think, these monopolies. Because I don't think Joe's going to do it. You guys think Joe's going to break up Google and Microsoft and Amazon? I don't believe he will. Pretty much, Patriot. There are a few that are decent. I'm a fan of Rand Paul usually. Sometimes Ted Cruz, though he can be a bit of a rhino. Yeah, Lee, I think Trump really did have good intentions of going in and draining the swamp. And then when he got there, he realized how deep the swamp was. And I think he was just in a way over his head at that point. And he did what he could do. But again, I mean, he had Congress and he had Senate. There for a while, it was Republican across the board. And they wouldn't even work with him to get things done, you know, because of all the rhinos and things. Tim, I agree. I think he's wrong on that as well. He definitely wasn't the perfect president, okay? I would love to have Reagan back. I'm not going to lie, but I'm a huge Reagan fan. Hey, Hutch, how are you, brother? Jason's in the house. I'm a huge Reagan fan. I mean, as much as I did like Trump, Trump was a strong leader, especially in, you know, compared to what we have right now. But Reagan was a no-nonsense president. He really was. So California, have you guys read this? California, this may have something to do with the recall. I don't really know. But there's news articles floating around. You folks can Google it. They haven't buried it yet. Where Gavin Newsom has introduced legislation that will help homeowners in California that are struggling because of the pandemic, up to $180,000. And in exchange, California would own 46 to 50% of your home. What do y'all think about that? You want the state of if you're in California, would you want the state of California to own half of your home? What a deal. I mean, you might as well. Gates already owns like 5,000 farmland acres in California. Nah, so yeah. I think this is the biggest difference. Like, we get into arguments over the Second Amendment things, and the left and the right agree or disagree on many things. But I think the biggest divide is the psychology behind being a conservative and being a liberal. I think liberals, they want their hands on everything. The government has to have its hand in everything. And conservatives just want to be left alone, you know? Let us pay our taxes. Let us go about our lives. We don't need the nanny state. And I don't understand really anybody that would want California to own half of your home. I don't care if they're helping you pay your mortgage right now or not. Cali is a trash state. Well, I mean, I'm basing it on what I see on the news. Man, I've never been to California, so I don't really know. It would be unfair of me to say completely that California is, but the leadership that I see coming out of California, nah. Mustard Packet, what's your opinion on Mexicans stealing 7 million rounds of ammunition? It's possible. It's also possible that that is a cover story for somebody else moving that amount of ammunition around in plain sight. just an opinion. I know it's not at my local Rule King, if that makes any sense. Rule King's like the place to buy ammo around here. We have a Walmart, but they don't carry anything anymore. You know, even before this big ammo shortage, all they had was like, you know, 10, 12 gauge and stuff like that. They didn't carry anything else. Rural King, they've given up here. They used to have a huge section with ammo, and now they got like gun safes and stuff, you know, like the small handgun safes and stuff. A full-on landfill fire, Clinton. Nick, we're going to do that in the morning. Reason being, there's no possible way for me to do the giveaway. I'm streaming from my phone right now, and there's no way I can possibly do it and film it real time. So we're going to do it, and it'll be at the very beginning of the premiere. I won't drag the premiere out or anything. I'll do the giveaway first thing. I saw that, Glenda. I saw that. The governor in Louisiana, for those of you that didn't know, it had went through the legislators there in Louisiana, and they put it on the governor's desk, the right to conceal carry without a permit, and the governor vetoed it. So I'm like, enjoy the last couple of years of your reign in Louisiana, because those folks will vote you out as long as it's a fair and free election. Yeah, just say as Nana, it's the same thing here. That's crazy for 22, really. Well, wait a minute, 850, that's not bad compared to what I'm seeing. That's actually good. China Mart sucks. Yeah, there are a lot of companies that have let us down, right? What do y'all think? I can't speak too much on it here, but what do y'all think on the 22.5-year sentence? Hopefully you folks know what I'm talking about with that. I got to be careful how I word things. Police officer receiving 22.5 years. Philly Flash says BS. There were a lot of people on social media, and we knew that was coming, saying it wasn't enough. You know, they wanted to bury the guy under the jail forever. Absolutely. I will do that the next time I'm up that way. It's a ways from where I'm at. Liz, it would just depend on the make and model of it, like, you know, the brand name and things. Brand names, when it comes to the hand boomsticks, mean a lot. And then the condition that it's in. Assuming that you could get the Freedom Seeds, you know, if it's a run-of-the-mill brand, $200 to $250 probably. Unfair trial, Dawn. I agree. I don't see how he could have gotten a fair trial. Like people in Cambodia, you know, living in yurts and stuff, they knew who this guy was, and they knew he was guilty already before the trial. Cambodia, I'm just pulling stuff out of the air. Somebody from Cambodia is going to send hate mail my way or something. Yeah, it is basically life. They said inner city, they said he would be eligible for parole in 15 years. And they were mad because he didn't say more to Floyd's family, but I think as he was explaining, he's still facing other charges, federal charges. Papa Prepper, how you doing, brother? I was lurking on your stream probably 30 minutes ago while I was making my fancy notes here on my China Mart note cards. Yeah, note cards. There you go. He never had a chance. I agree, Odins, and it sucks, man. I'm not saying that he wasn't in the wrong. I think he was in the wrong. But they have made the victim out to be a saint, right? And he was no saint. We don't know what happened prior to this. We don't know if they were wrestling around, if he was reaching for a gun. We don't know. Well, that's one way of putting it, Steve. I'll let you put it that way, but that's one way of putting it. You know, you hate it. I'll be honest with you, I hate it for both families involved because I know that the victim had kids, and then also, you know, this officer, he's got a family too. And that's, you know, his mom was there. This is somebody's kid. People were hating this lady. And, you know, it doesn't mean that she's a bad parent. She's basically lost her kid too now. At least for a long time. Yeah, Philly, I agree. Talent 100%. So parents are rejecting Marxism in schools. Have y'all seen this? All the school board meetings and things. I want to let you in on a little secret. You can use, if you have a kid in public schools, you can use the Freedom of Information Act to actually get a copy of everything that's being taught to your child. They're not going to like it. You might get some dirty looks from your local school board, but legally they have to give this to you in writing. And I hope the parents don't lose their jobs. Gina, I do not blame you at all. No public schools for your kids. Unfortunately, for some people, that's not an option. You know, I know a lot of people aren't working right now, but for those that are, some of them depend on the school system. And you want to be able to put your kid in the school system. You want your kid to be safe and for them to be taught like a baseline amount of knowledge. And that's not really what's been going on. They're not safe, first of all. Second of all, they're teaching them Marxism. You know, they're trying to confuse these young people at a very young age about their sexual identity, etc. And it's ridiculous. Inner city prepper. Man, we used to play dodgeball in school. I don't know how y'all did it, but we had the bowling pins. And I was always one of the guys that got stuck in front of the bowling pin. So I was always trying to catch them. And everybody's running around. And you could pull some vendettas out during gym class on that. Somebody made you mad earlier in the week, you get them back during pin dodgeball. Pawan Dave, why don't you homeschool your kids? I did this past year because of the C-19. It was an option. But I will tell you that my wife works for the public school system. And so we have considered pulling them out and either putting them in a private school or me homeschooling them. But to be honest with you, we are a little worried about retaliation. We're worried that they would find a reason to get rid of my wife at that point. So I can get on here and say whatever I want to about the school system, but she is not able to say anything. And of course, there are good teachers out there, but they're handcuffed, you know what I mean? So, in case you haven't seen this, all right, I'm gonna let y'all simmer on this one for a second. Do you see what the Nike CEO said this week? You know, the Nike tennis shoe company. I guess, is it Nike or Nike? How do y'all say that? I say Nike. He said that his company was of China and for China. And it's always been about China. I'm just curious what you think. I'll give you a second. I want to read the comments here. Lawn carts. I don't think I ever played that, Jason. I don't even know what that is, brother. It sounds fun. Gina, I've bought several products from Nike in the past. I will never buy another one. I think it is their choice. You know, if they want to pander to China and they want to, you know, get on the floor at the throne of China and say, you know, throw themselves at China, that's their choice. It's their company. But I'm not going to. Coral Tiger blacked out from a dodgeball once. I'm not going to support him anymore. I haven't in a couple of years now, but man, have I bought some Nike stuff in the past. I have one set of Nike shoes, the older ones here now, and I use them to mow the yard in. and that's it. They ain't getting another dime from me. I don't let my kids buy Nike at this point. I tell them, you know, if they want to buy Nike, they can save their own money up and buy it. I don't care. That's their choice. But if I'm buying it, they're going to wear something else. Same thing here, Kelly. And it seems like it's just a huge communist takeover of this country, but it's about more than communism, folks. And if Rudy's here, he may be able to chime in on this. And this is opinion, but I believe part of this has to do with the fact that these companies like Nike, they're starting to understand that the US dollar is about to lose its spot as the reserve currency of the world. And they're trying to hitch to a different wagon. The US dollar is getting weaker by the day. And these companies are rich for a reason. They know when to hold them and when to fold them, I guess you could say. They think that patriots, we don't buy tennis shoes. And so they have just shafted all of us. And they're pandering to a different crowd now. And I think that they're getting away from America. And we're going to see this from other companies, and they're going to hitch their wagon to China, because I believe they think that China is going to become the new reserve currency of the world. It is unfortunate, Rudy. It is. And we don't know when, but it's coming. I mean, there's no way that we can continue to print off money, zero backing it whatsoever, and stay on top. I mean, there's just no way. We can't. From my understanding, we are the reserve currency because other countries know that we have the ability to pay our debts. But at some point, they're going to realize, you know, we are broke as a joke, and we're not going to be able to pay them anymore. And I think Nike has figured this out. So anyway, sit rep on shortages. All right, I'm going to try and do this every week since there's so many stinking shortages in our country. And if you have seen shortages outside this list, please feel free to list them. Computer chips, which is going to affect everything from cars to iPads to, you know, computers, electronics, things like this. Used and rental cars. I'm guessing that because there are no new cars, there's a blitz on the used car market. The car lots in my area look like they've been picked clean. I mean, it just is what it is. Gasoline is at most of my gas stations. There are still a few that have the bags on the handles. Most of them have the gas, but it's still, you know, hovering right under $3, which is high for this area. Plastics and palm oil. I was not aware of the palm oil until I wrote this down. Kevin, how you doing, brother? My patience, homestead homeboy, right? And common sense too. Seems to be a shortage on that here in America. Truckers. Apparently there's a shortage on truckers in general. I'm not sure what kind. I'm not sure if this is tanker drivers or, you know, just long haul truckers. That's just what pulled up on the website I went to. Home and land. For those that missed that premiere this week, we went and we looked at a couple of different listings for 2 acres. 2 acres here, and then there was 2 acres here. And it was flat land out in the middle of nowhere. And one of them was right under $30,000 for 2 acres, which is really high. I wasn't expecting it. And the other one was 40, I want to say 45 or 47,000. I don't even remember now. I just got back in the car. I'm like, nah. But yeah, there's a shortage of homes and land apparently. And this is probably due, this is opinion, but this is probably due to people actually having money living in urban areas that are trying to get out. You know, it's kind of like when the Titanic was going down on the movie Sun, and with old Kate Winslet on there. I always had a thing for Kate. Don't tell Miss Nation. But yeah, as it's going down, you know, all the rich people are just throwing all their money out. They're like, here, take $100,000, give me a spot on the boat. Rural America is the boat. Um, Places that are not highly populated, your North Dakotas, your Alaskas, we could see a lot of people migrating to those areas to try and escape what I think is going to be some form of Mad Max. But yeah, there you go. Lumber. If you want to make a statement here in this area of North Carolina, you drive a truck around with a piece of lumber in it. You know what I mean? You got one 2x4 in the back of your truck, and you stop at a stop sign, and the women come up to you, son, on the corner, and they peek in there. You know, it used to be the Lambo. You could push a Lamborghini around, but no more. Now it's a truck with one 2x4 in it. And people know you got money at that point, right? Household paper goods. This is going to be everything from diapers and toilet paper. Can y'all believe that? To the things that women use that I shall not name, because I feel kind of weird when I name those things. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about there, son. Furniture. Furniture. There's a shortage on furniture. I never thought I would see it. I'm surrounded everywhere by trees in this area. They're everywhere. And we have a shortage on furniture. I don't know how that works. Chicken. There's a shortage on chicken. It would, OFC, it absolutely would. And they may do it July 9th, brother. There's a shortage on chicken. We still see it in our grocery store, but the price has went up like a rocket ship. Same thing with bacon and hot dogs. Bacon and hot dogs, some of them they're empty holes now in our local grocery stores. Some of them, you know, the holes are filled and the prices have doubled. Dave Jones, I think I get that one, man. I don't know. This coffee's slapping me in the face, so I think he's trying to make a joke. 3 months, Rob Coleman. Well, first of all, man, your last name is Coleman, right? That you could have just called and said, look, I'm part of the Coleman Stove Company, son. But no, he said, man, I bought a stove 3 months ago and still never have received it. I would be calling every day if this was me. Instead, boy, I'm gonna pretend. Thank you for that. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that one. That's ridiculous. Don Bojangles has no chicken. No chicken. If you don't have a Bojangles in your area, they make really good sweet tea and really, really spicy chicken. That's what they're known for. How are you going to sell chicken and not have chicken? My gosh. This is like Burger King running out of hamburger or something. Thank you for that, brother. That is sad. Cheese, coffee, and olive oil are also on the shortage list. We can still find cheese and we can still find coffee. I have a lot of coffee, actually, Mylard. For those of you that send coffee to the P.O. Box, thank you very much. It is appreciated, but don't set yourself back. I would rather you spend that money on prepping. I promise I have enough coffee for a while. But again, thank you. Cheese, we can find that. The olive oil is starting to get scarce here. And again, when you find this stuff, the price. Chlorine. We knew about this one, right? This is going to affect bleach. This is going to affect people that have the swimming pools. Patrick's all tore up about that coffee. The swimming pools now, not the kind of swimming pools I have. Y'all know those $5 plastic swimming pools, the kiddie pools? Yeah, we got one down in the basement, and if it comes down to it, I'll drag it out and fill it up with water and just lay in it, because I don't have any shame. But I'm talking about people that have real swimming pools. They're having trouble finding the chemicals. Alaska Prepper Rudy says olive oil will double within a year. Yeah, I've seen it. It's starting to tick up a little bit here. But what we're seeing right now in my area, Rudy, is a lot of holes. It seems to be the smaller bottles that are missing too. People haven't bid on the bigger bottles, more expensive ones yet, but they will. Um, Corn, shortage on corn. That's what happens when trains randomly derail and they're full of corn. You end up with shortages. Oxygen. This is probably C-19 related. A lot of it anyway. This is going to be your hospitals, your nursing homes, and things like that. A lot of people, I used to deliver it to homes and to nursing homes, people that are on oxygen, like the concentrators and things, and the steel oxygen tanks. There's a huge shortage right now in that. Honey Badger says, stock up on your cornmeal. Jason, use avocado oil, it's better. Rudy insulted olive oil. How did he do that? I missed that one. I was flapping my gums here. Oh man, I gotta pay attention to the chat here. And finally, labor. Huge shortage on labor, right? So what else are you guys seeing shortage-wise here? Sugar. Let's see. Somebody said sugar. Sugar. If you believe that sugar is going to be short at some point, which it may very well be, Mylar. This stuff right now is still cheap. You can get it for almost nothing. Go ahead and Mylar. It'll get hard. It'll turn hard as a rock in many cases, but you just bust it up. Take a hammer and bust it up when the time comes. Bleach tablets, Liz, it is a very good prep. We keep many bleach tablets here. And I know, not to get all janky on y'all, but one thing we do here, this is something our grandparents actually taught us, my wife and I, is once a month we will go around with bleach tablets and we'll put them in the toilets and we'll just let them sit, and it helps with the plumbing, or so I'm told. But they're good for everything. Where's the best place to get Mylar? Jafet, email me if you don't mind, and I'll get you the exact dealer. I get it on Amazon, but I can't remember. It comes from Canada, so it does take a little longer to get here. I don't remember the company name right off, but I'll dig around. I have their business card here somewhere, and then I can also pull my Amazon up later, and I can get you the name and address and everything. Dry beans, really? Lack of dry beans. We have a closet here. My wife actually got on to me a while back. We have a closet, and that's one of my two favorite things to Mylar. I love to Mylar the dry beans and rice. And my wife, at one point, she just stepped in and she's like, stop buying beans. We got so many beans. We have a huge closet, and it's filled with these. Right? Except inside were 5-gallon Mylar bags of beans, and I'm like, I can't stop buying them. It's just one of the things I like to prep, you know. I told her, I said, just get some soy sauce and some extra steak sauce, so if that time comes, we don't have to eat beans plain. Put the Nuka-Cola poster back or send it to me. Socrates has been here for a while. You've inspired me, Socrates. I may actually do that this upcoming week. It's still, I think it's behind the Fury poster. I'd forgotten all about it. But I can tell you've been here for a while. Thank you. It's a sickness. Homestead said it's a sickness. I guess they're talking about buying beans up. They're just so cheap, you know. When I get a 10-pound bag of beans, or sometimes we go to we have an Amish store that's not too far away, and you can get huge bags of beans for very little money, and it feels good to have that much food in your hand and not have to pay a lot of money, and then know that you can Mylar it and everything's all good. Yeah, absolutely, Rudy. If you folks are familiar with the you coffee drinkers, if you've ever had the sugar cubes where the cubes are really hard, that's kind of what happens to sugar if you Mylar it. I mean, it doesn't pop out into little cubes, but you can hammer it off into, you know, all kinds of fun shapes. It's not going to ruin. But no, you don't need the absorber. Prepping, Axel Brode says prepping is an addiction. It can be. That's why that was a big mistake. When I started, I couldn't get enough, and I was like gear oriented, you know. I don't know if I have one laying around or not, but the first thing for me was prepping magazines, right? My buddy turned me on to prepping, and then I started getting into the prepping magazines, and they put the most expensive stuff in those magazines. And you think it's kind of like, you know, you get into a sport, they're going to show you the most expensive baseball bats or cleats or whatever. And can you vacuum seal sugar? I don't see why not, Heather. I mean, you can vacuum seal almost anything. I've never tried it. I don't vacuum seal sugar, but Brian Keith Prepper. I almost called you Prepper Brian Keith. You switched it up on me last week, man. Dry beans are also considered seeds. That's a very good point. Very good point. But prepping can get addicting, and so you have to pace yourself money-wise. I love to read up on it and stuff like that, but I had to pull the reins back, like spending-wise, and I had to become more creative with some of the stuff I was prepping, you know. But I love it in the sense that you can be addicted to a lot of things. You know, this is when I first pitched this to my wife, the whole prepping thing, because I was on board before she was. It's all about balance. Absolutely, Rudy. When I first pitched it to her, I said, look, you know, there are guys out here my age that have far worse habits that cost a whole lot more money. You know, maybe they're addicted to gambling, or they go to the bars on the weekends and they drink a bunch of liquor or whatever. It costs money. I'm spending money. I'm here at home with you, and I'm spending money on stuff that could potentially help us during a Mad Max, you know, an SHTF. And at first, she didn't get it. But as 2020 began to play out with the pandemic, she really got on board. And since you're here, Rudy, my wife, let me show you this. Hold on, brother. She continues to order stuff from Oxen Farms. I think she uses your code, Rudy. What's up with that, man? I feel like I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night one night and Rudy's going to be on the phone with my wife. And they're going to be talking about Oxen Farms or something. But I told her, I said, because Rudy had told me to avoid the honey. The honey is actually sugar, guys. But everything else, I think she did, Rudy. Yeah, your link. But the peanut butter powder, she just got that this week in the potato jams. And she's forever telling me, did you know Oxen Farms is running the sale? I'm like, you're killing me with the Oxen Farms. It's supposed to be Ready Wise, lady. But there you go. So for those that don't know, really quickly, let me just say we have a backup channel where we talk history. We talk, sometimes we run down the news when I'm bored sitting around the Ponderosa here. We also back everything up on BitChute and Rumble. And of course we have a Patreon. And most of the folks here don't know this, but I actually started podcasting audio only, and I still have that audio only podcast. All of the links are down below. All of them, son. And I've got to ask, are there any sheepdogs in the house? If you're a sheepdog, raise your hand, please. While you're doing that, I picked up a, this is from a place here locally, Miss Angel's Heavenly Pies on Main Street in Mount Airy, or as we call it, Mayberry. This is a peach moonshine pie. I just wanted to show you all that since it's already sitting here. How do you raise your hand on YouTube? You just did it. You just did it. By posting any kind of comment, throwing a hand up, anything like that. Brian Keith Prepper said, I'm a wolf, no sheep here. Well, hopefully you're on our side at least, if you're going to be a wolf. We can stand to have a few wolves, you know what I mean? But there you go. So let's go down. We have a Facebook, we have MeWe, and we have Telegram. And let's go down. I'm going to go down through the subjects that they've been talking about this week, okay? They've been talking about a lot of stuff, but this is when I was peeking in. I told y'all last week on the social media platforms, I can't be there all the time. So I'll peek in from time to time. I go to the chiropractor, I pull the phone up, I'm like lurking in my own social media. Facebook. Somebody had posted, and it was a very popular post, no one is coming to rescue the United States. There is no place to escape for freedom. And they were saying that other countries are not going to send us aid. They're not going to send us medical aid or packages of food like we do other countries. And this is one reason we need to prep, because the spending is off the rails in this country. It's so basic. I don't understand how our lawmakers don't understand this. You know, if you have $2 in your pocket and you go into the store, you don't spend $55. You know, that's bad money management. But that's what we're doing right now. We're over, and we've been doing it for so long, you know, spending tons of money and you're getting very little back in taxes, especially right now with the workforce. When it comes off the rails, was that your post, Wood Knots? When it comes off of the rails, nobody's going to jump in and help us. Russia's not going to send us tons of money in aid or food or medicine. China's not going to do it. They want us to fall. We're on our own, and we need to hold our lawmakers accountable, if that's even possible at this point. I don't know. But that was really the big topic this week on Facebook. Bradley, I'm in a very small one. And just to let you know, we use the Roman flag, but it's a militia, but it's more of a mag. It's not a militia. I should say it's a mag, and it's mostly family and extended friends that I've known and that I trust with my life. It's not one of the deals where it goes Mad Max, we're all grabbing rifles and we're going to go. For us, it's about getting to a secure location and locking that location down and just trying to survive it. You know, we're willing to protect what we have, but we're not loading for bear, so to speak. Rudy from Augustin Farms. So on MeWe, they were talking about hospital workers getting fired this week or resigning. Did you folks see that? I can't tell you why, but they're refusing this, and now their jobs are being taken from them, and we're going to continue to see it. We're going to continue to see this, not just in the medical field. It is going to spread. Okay, and I have to be very careful what I say here, but right now it's happening there, and a lot of universities are, there you go, Independent Marine, you understand what I'm saying. A lot of universities are requiring it now. Otherwise, you're basically kicked out of school, and it's going to continue to spread. We're losing freedom because of this thing. This thing has just been turned into the ultimate boogeyman. And so that was a big topic this week over on MeWe. And then finally, this is funny. So I get on Telegram, and I'm scrolling back through, and they are talking about Grandmaster Jay. Do y'all remember him, Grandmaster Jay? Not the rapper, son, but the guy that demanded that we give them Texas. You know, give them Texas like it's just a socket set or something. Give me that socket set, son. They were talking about Grandmaster Jay because he's facing charges right now, and they were talking about F-15s. They were asking, where do you buy a used F-15 right now in this market? You know, it would have been hard enough before, but I can't get a used Volkswagen right now. Son, with the car shortage, where do we get a F-15? So I think they were just having fun with that. Master barely of himself. With Kentucky, I do remember that. I do remember that Red Tire and Hunter. Got spanked in Kentucky. Give me that socket set. I'm telling you, you know, like Texas is nothing. Just give us Texas and we'll be satisfied. Yeah, okay, good luck with that. So there you go. Before we go, again, a reminder, tomorrow morning during the premiere at the beginning, we're going to do the giveaway, okay, of the knife. And the winner will have 1 week or so to email me and give me an address to send it to. It's going to come straight from Amazon to the winner's address, okay? I have a blank card. And what I'm going to ask for the next couple of minutes is you folks to give me ideas. What would you like to see this week on Prepper Nation for the premiere videos? I'm open to almost anything that does not involve a poll and Hillary Clinton. And let me just put to you like that, son. There's certain things I can't talk about. The Hillary Clinton and the poll that goes from the ceiling to the floor, I ain't talking about. Google probably would let that one slide, and I ain't gonna do it. I'll take Texas. Yeah, I'll take Texas for $200. I can't even get 2 acres of land out in BFE, and Grandmaster be wanting Texas. Yeah, no pole dancing, James. None. Dehydrator preps. Dehydrator. I have a dehydrator. I can do that. I need to get it out. It ain't been out in a while. Inner city prepping, I have to be careful with that one. Anything involving this is almost an automatic band hammer. The dollar being removed. I'll just put USD. John would make a great neighbor. I mow my grass and everything, Liz. I take care of the yard. It's crazy. Let's see here, Rudy. Thank you. You don't have to do that, brother. You know that, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you were here. You keep me on my A game when you're here, Rudy. Rudy is one of the top tier creators in the community. And when one of the top tier creators hits your stream, you start doing this. You know what I mean? It's like, makes you a little nervous. But nervous is good. Nervous keeps you honest. Thank you for that, Rudy. Digital currency. Keeping your prep safe from prying eyes. Joseph, that's a good one. I'm writing all this stuff down, and I'm going to go back and reread the chat anyway. Oh, man. I'll take 2 acres in Texas. I'll take it almost anywhere right now. I'm going to have to, this was up in Virginia where we were looking. I'm going to have to start looking in West Virginia. Maybe it's cheaper there. I know they got a lot of land. Have a good night, Rudy. Thanks for being here, brother. I tell nobody we prep. That's very good prepping advice, Bo. Tell no one unless you have a mag. John McPhee. All right, let's see here. Guns coast to coast. Keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. I know, Jennifer. Yeah, you know. Thanks for the $10, Rudy, but my wife probably just put 20 in your pocket this week. But we got, you know, Oxen Farms is good stuff. So I can't complain. Good night, Patriot Grease Monkey. Rainwater barrels, okay. Your local, we might go over that, but your local farm store is the place to get them. 50-gallon. Kelly, how to get your kids to like camping. Okay. That's awesome. I'm not going to take up any more of y'all's time tonight. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out and smoke a cigar, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to film the premiere. So please don't shame me in the morning when I'm wearing the same shirt, okay? Brian Keith Prepper, I will look for that. Thank you very much. Edible wild plants, Homestead Homeboy, okay. Edible plants. But I will come back and I'll read the chat as soon as I get done filming tomorrow's premiere, okay? I appreciate you folks being here tonight. I don't even know what the numbers look like because mostly I've been looking at the phone, but I appreciate it. For everybody that has shot a thumbs up, thank you very much for that. And hopefully it was not too laggy tonight. That was the main reason I'm going with the phone. So I guess we'll see. Catches. Catches, very good one. Y'all have a blessed night. All right, I appreciate you being here. Good night.